Right. So you're saying that they've been testing viruses during the prehistoric era.
Sorry, what did you say?
You're saying they've been testing viruses during the prehistoric era.
Yeah. And the reason
When
why
when there were no humans. Do you know how silly you sound? No, you can't.
so you can't put goggles on this mask, no?
You can't. Well, that's ridiculous.
How is it ridiculous?
Well, I think you know how that's ridiculous. I don't think I even need to explain how that's ridiculous.
Well,
And you'd get a freedom pass to go back to normal life. I think that's a silly idea, personally. But that doesn't mean the vaccine itself gives you zombieism. It doesn't turn you into a zombie. That's ludicrous. That's beyond ludicrous.
the vaccine's just
Can you accept that you
But-
won't become a zombie if you take the vaccine?
no.
Oh, for Christ's sake. Oh, hello.
Hello.
Do you mind if I record this?
Okay.
I'm just sort of browsing through Omegle. This is my first time on Omegle, by the way. I'm browsing through Omegle asking people for their view on the coronavirus vaccine.
What?
On their view of the coronavirus vaccine.
My view. I'm still not sure yet because
I'm not
it's
sure.
Still...
Would you take a vaccine?
No, of course.
You would or wouldn't?
No, I wouldn't
You wouldn't. Why wouldn't you take a vaccine?
because it's still not yet. Um, it's still not yet approved, right? I mean, it's not. There's no one right.
It has been passed. Both the Pfizer and Oxford vaccine has now been passed by 3 independent judges. 3 independent tests. Nope.
Hello?
So I'm here gathering people's opinion on the coronavirus vaccine.
The vaccine, nah. I'm not having it.
No,
Personally.
why not?
Because what you gotta think of, like what I think coronavirus is, it's a government attack.
A government attack?
Yeah.
Why is that?
Because right at the beginning of 2020, look what happened. There was World War III around the corner.
In what way was World War III around the corner?
Well, there was on about there's going to be a war.
Between? Are you talking about the US and Iran conflict?
Just the whole world.
Just the whole world?
Yeah, the world was going at war.
In what way? Chemical warfare? Are we talking digital warfare?
Just like the World War II, but obviously it's not going to be like the World War II, if you get me, because of all the technology, the chemicals, what's like gathered over the years, and stuff. And then, like the fires in Australia.
Fires in Australia, okay. What about the fires in Australia?
I reckon that was all planned.
All planned?
Yeah,
Okay. By who?
the government.
The government. So
Yeah.
the Australian government or the UK government?
Just like everyone,
Everyone.
like the prime ministers, the royal families, like you know how like all the different countries have like governments.
I do know how all the different countries have governments, yes.
Yeah, they obviously they all get together, not like in person, but like talk over like webcam and like
Okay.
plan stuff.
So hang on. Do you not think if they were to get together on a webcam, as you say, do you not think somehow those videos might get leaked?
No, because obviously it's all encrypted.
All
because
encrypted.
people don't want to the government don't want people to know.
So what type of conversation do you think these world leaders have together on their webcam calls?
Because obviously the what's it called? Like you know how there's like billions of people in the world.
I do know how there's billions of people
Yeah,
in the
there's
world.
like back in this 1700s,
Yeah.
there was half of that.
Okay.
That's when the world was fine. Like
Was fine. So
There was
so the fact that there's higher population now,
yeah,
the world is a
they want to
mass
cut down on the
conspiracy.
population. Yeah, that's what I was trying to come
Okay.
across.
So could you explain the 83 million total cases of coronavirus as of today?
I reckon it's fake.
You reckon it's fake. How could it be fake? Hello?
Hi.
Hello, do you mind if I record this?
Yeah, that's alright.
Awesome. Okay, I'm just here gathering people's opinion on the COVID vaccine.
Cool.
Would you take the vaccine yourself?
Personally, no. I'm, perfectly healthy the way I am, and I'd rather just get on with my life and not let fear control me into, something I'm not.
So what if your taking the vaccine would have prevented somebody else from catching the virus, and you maybe, spreading it onto somebody who might not be as healthy as yourself, and thus something very bad happening?
I thought the whole point of taking the vaccine was if you have it, then you're not going to have as severe
Well,
symptoms.
it will prevent getting the vaccine it'll prevent getting the virus in a major way. What the virus actually consists of is it's the genome removed from the protein structure. So you get the protein structure of the virus injected into you with no health risks whatsoever. It's impossible to catch the virus, but what you develop is you develop the antibodies to COVID.
Okay, cool. But like I said again, personally, I just don't want anything imposed on me. I don't want my freedom or
Well, it's
just the
not it's not imposing your freedom. Nobody would force you to do so, but would you choose to do so?
No, I wouldn't choose to do so. No.
Why not?
Um, I'm I'm just seeing how things develop at the moment, then again, it just comes down to how willing you are to trust those in power. Um,
How
and yeah,
willing to trust those in power are you?
um, I don't know, the pharmaceutical companies in particular. I don't know. I just because no matter what company it is, all they want is a profit. The more vaccines they have, the more money they can make out of this whole thing.
Last time I went
But
to
same with all
record
of them.
this, I checked the total cases. There was 77 million. Just a few
Mhm.
days later, I went to check the cases again, and it spiked up to 83 million. So if, say, the whole nation were to take a vaccine, you could prevent these cases spiking up, which they are rapidly going up, and as a result, people are dying. There are currently 1.82 million deaths. And that's a ridiculous number. And in America alone, every single day, it's more deaths than 9/11.
Yeah. So what happens if the population doesn't want to take it? What do you do next?
Well, you would hope the population would want to take it to prevent such a disastrous virus spreading even further, of which has limited the lives and freedom of so many.
Yeah.
So why wouldn't you take it?
I'm just fine the way I am. I just don't want. Yeah.
So
It's just
with all
not
due
not for
respect,
me.
if everybody had that same mindset, then
Mhm.
nobody would be taking the vaccine. And
Yeah.
this pandemic would continue, and not only that, get far worse than it is.
Yeah.
So do you believe this pandemic is awful? Do you believe it's a real thing, or I've come across people who've said that it's a mass conspiracy by governing bodies and it's all made up.
Um. I just think it's important to be present and aware of what's going on in the world. Just especially the rate at which human behavior and just day to day life has changed. Um, yeah, I mean, I'm not sure. Like, I'm very chill about the thing. I don't want to get too caught up in either side. I just want to,
Mm.
yeah.
So you're willing to hear both sides of the argument. Is there any way I could convince you that it's okay to take this vaccine?
Um, no, it's yeah,
Well,
it's just
that
I'm
is
just not
picking
gonna
a
take
side
it.
then. That's what you've just done. You've picked a side.
Yeah.
So you said
But
a moment ago that you wouldn't pick a side.
I just don't want to take. I just don't want to take the vaccine. It's just my personal
What if
opinion, I
it
guess.
prevents you from spreading it to somebody else? Or what if it just, you taking it prevents, the pandemic getting far worse than it already has?
I'm not sure.
Yo, hello.
Hello
Sorry
again.
about that.
You left?
Yeah, my phone rang. I'm on
Oh,
my phone.
right. Okay, well, I guess it's quite lucky I found you again.
Yeah.
So, you left off by saying, what was it? The Australian fires were fake and by the government, that the COVID virus was a product of the governing bodies going on webcams. So, could you explain 83 million cases?
Yeah, I reckon they just want to cut down on the population of the world.
So you think this virus is completely fake?
Well, it's not, like, it's fake that it came from rats. Like, it was an accident.
Rats?
Yeah, because apparently that's rats.
No.
Bats.
Bats makes more sense.
Obviously, it appeared in China, it came out, and it's gone global.
So you think it wasn't a made-up virus then? You think it was a virus due to an animal that was not a mammal transferring a viral gene to an animal that was a mammal, then transferred to humans?
It's either that, or it's been frozen over the years, because obviously the Black Plague.
What do you mean
Years
the Black
ago.
Plague?
The plague years ago. That's like coronavirus. It's killing people. You got to wear a mask and stuff.
Well, they're completely separate diseases. I mean, the bubonic plague has completely separate symptoms to coronavirus. Coronavirus is a SARS-like viral gene that can spread through the humans and kill them.
The plague was killing people as well. So I personally think it's been frozen.
It doesn't matter if the plague was killing people. There are such things as viruses. The bubonic plague was completely separate to the coronavirus.
Right. I think it was frozen. Like this virus was frozen years ago.
Yeah.
And
when
obviously-
are you suggesting that it was frozen during the bubonic plague?
Yeah.
By who?
God knows. Whoever was in charge back then.
Whoever was in charge. Okay.
Right. I reckon it was frozen. Because there's all these different stories and that it's man-made, it's real, it's fake, and all of this. Right? I reckon it was frozen, and because of global warming and how much the Antarctica's defrosting and all of this,
Right.
it came out, but the scientists has messed about with it and made it more dangerous, which is killing more people.
With all due respect, that's utterly ludicrous. It really is. That's the craziest thing I think I've ever heard.
Well, what do you think it is then?
Well, I think what the science has said, the virus is a viral genome that's been passed on through a non-mammal to a mammal. Once the virus was passed on to a mammal, then a human consumed that very mammal. They then had COVID-19. Animals have had COVID-19 for years. Cats, it's a common thing with cats to get COVID-19. This can't have been frozen and then melted away due to global warming. Why would animals have COVID-19 then?
Testing it.
Testing it.
Yeah, over the years.
Over the years.
See if it's that dangerous.
they've been testing coronavirus since viral genes appeared in the first place. I say appeared, developed.
Yeah.
Right. So you're saying that they've been testing viruses during the prehistoric era.
Sorry, what did you say?
You're saying they've been testing viruses during the prehistoric era.
Yeah. And the reason why
when there were no humans.
Well, how do you know there was no humans?
Well, we know human and dinosaur never roamed.
But how did you know that dinosaurs were such a thing?
Because we have fossils and we have carbon dating.
But then, if you're saying that, how do you know that humans never?
Do you believe in anything?
No.
Nothing.
I reckon the government and the world leaders has got us all in a box and they're puppet masters.
Right.
If the world leader, yeah, you know, the world leaders turned around to us and said to beat COVID-19, you would have to, I don't know, run outside naked at a certain time, right? And you will not get COVID-19. You sit there in your house and watch how many people will do it. It sounds stupid. That sounds stupid, yeah. But if I don't know,
That's not the first thing I've heard that sounds stupid.
like Donald Trump, you're gonna have to inject Dettol inside you to stop COVID-19.
Well,
How many people
did inject Dettol?
Exactly? How
Well,
many?
no,
people
you
did?
tell me. You tell me. You said everybody would run outside at midnight. That's a good example. How many people did go on to inject themselves with Dettol when Trump suggested you should do so?
I don't know.
Well, not many. I can assure you.
Exactly, because people sat there because it's this generation now. People's using their own brains.
Well, hang on.
and not-
Whoa, hold on. You said just a second ago, if the government told you to run outside at midnight, completely naked, they would do so.
Yeah, most people would. That's why I
Right.
said.
So why did
people
most
just-
people not inject themselves with Dettol then?
Because people use their own brains.
So why wouldn't people use their own brains when running outside naked?
Yeah, but that was only a like.
But you said people would.
Yeah, people would. Like, people
How
injected
many?
themselves with Dettol.
Do you know how many people injected themselves with Dettol?
No.
Well, then don't say like people did then, because you don't know. That's something you cannot back up whatsoever. So don't
people
suggest that's true.
People did.
Well, how many?
I don't know how many. I haven't been to America and spoke to people. and
Well,
said,
if
"Did
you were to
inject
speak to
yourself?"
people in America, you wouldn't find out how many. You do know that, right? You'd need to conduct a test to do so.
Oh yeah.
Right, so there's no need to say that you haven't been to America to speak to people, because there's no way you'd gather such data. People would probably not even reveal it.
But people did still inject themselves with Dettol. Right or wrong?
Well, people have injected themselves with Dettol for ages. They've done it to commit suicide in some cases. That might not be of the influence of Trump.
But if Trump never said that, then there won't be as many people doing it.
I don't know how you can back that up.
Well, it was all over Google and everything.
What, that people were injecting themselves with Dettol?
Yeah, because Donald Trump said.
Right, well...
I don't know the percentage, I don't know how many people done it, but it was on Google.
I mean, what are you even saying?
What do you mean?
I don't know what you're trying to say. You first said that people would start running outside at midnight if the world leader told you to, because it would cure you from COVID. Now you're saying that people will not inject themselves with bleach because Trump said so, but people did. What's your point?
Well, most people use their brains. Yeah, because obviously they've looked into it.
Right.
They've got their all different stories. That's where there's so many stories of it.
Yeah.
Because people use the brain and researched it and everything.
Yeah.
But the people who's following the news and doing exactly what they say, they're the people who will do it.
So can you take back the comment that you said that the virus was frozen because animals have been able to pass and contract the virus?
Yeah, I take that back.
For ages. So you admit that was wrong. You admit that was crazy.
Yeah, but
Okay.
that's just another
So
story.
that's a start. We can move on from there. You admit that what you just said, saying the virus was frozen, and saying people have been testing viruses on people when people didn't even exist. You can admit that was completely nuts.
Yeah.
Good. Okay, that's a start. Right. So why else would you not take this virus then? Not
This
virus,
vaccine.
vaccine.
Because obviously of all of these films and stuff over the years, zombie outbreaks.
What do you mean zombie outbreaks?
Zombie outbreaks. I reckon there's
What
going to
are
be a
you
new
on
outbreak.
about? Zombie outbreaks.
There's going to be a new outbreak, yeah?
Yeah.
Either at the end of this year or in the next couple of years, what this vaccine's done to you, and it kills you, but it don't kill you. Turns you into a zombie to cut down the population. And it's going to go out the...
Right.
Like,
So hang on. To cut down the population when it doesn't kill you.
No, but
I'm
Obviously,
sorry,
it
do you
kills
realise what you just said?
Well, think of a zombie. They're dead, but they're not actually dead.
Okay. Well, they are called the undead.
Yeah, that's what this vaccine does.
It turns you into the undead.
You're black and
Yeah.
red, you know.
Right.
It's either that or it's a government thing and it tracks you.
Do you know what this virus is made up of? Not virus, vaccine. Do you know what this vaccine's made up of?
No.
Shall I tell you?
Go on then.
Okay, so this vaccine is the coronavirus. What you do is you get the coronavirus and
Yep.
you remove the viral genome. So you get the protein structure of the virus. That's then injected into you. You don't have the coronavirus in you whatsoever. You just have the protein structure. A lot like the skeleton of the virus, but not the body. Right?
Well,
And once that's injected, you develop antibodies because your body believes you do have the virus, and you go through repairing stages in which you never have had the virus in the first place. So you then have the antibodies, and it means you won't get the virus in a serious way. Thus, you won't be a serious carrier. Thus, you won't be killing people because 1.82 million people are dead so far from this virus,
yeah.
and it's going up every single day.
Are you taking the vaccine?
Of course, I'll be taking the vaccine.
You're hot, man.
Why?
Well, clearly because I want to be a zombie, according to you.
Well, you either
Because
want to be a zombie or you want to be trapped.
I don't want to spread the virus, and I don't want to kill relatives of mine when I see them for Christmas.
That's why you wear a mask, and that's why you only go out if
Well,
you need
masks don't do much. We know this. Masks don't prevent the spread of the virus.
So why is it-
You can spread the virus just by touching something.
Yeah, but why is it you have to wear a mask when you go out? When you got into
Well,
public transport?
there's arguments for there being no need to wear masks, but what it will do is it will prevent the spread of the virus itself. So it will, if you're standing 2 meters away, it will be less likely for you to be in contact with coronavirus cells or the viral cells.
Right, so you see these paper masks, what they've brought out, what all the NHS is using.
Yeah, are you going to tell me there's sort of chemicals in them that kill you?
Oh no, these things,
Oh, you got them. Okay, yeah.
right?
Looks like a pair of knickers.
Oh yeah, I know. It's the one what I got from the NHS. But
Right.
anyway,
Okay.
why is it such a flimsy mask and so small for the world's deadliest virus? But when you're, I don't know, dusting or mining, or you have to go into a nuclear environment,
Yeah.
why do you have to wear all these big suits, these big masks?
Okay.
But
So
this thing
hang
there-
on. Let's answer that question. When you're dusting, for example, can you see dust? Yes or
yeah,
no?
you can.
All right. When you're outside, can you see the virus?
No.
Does that answer the question for you?
Well, if you can't see the virus, why don't you have to wear these big goggles?
What do you mean? Why don't you have to wear these big goggles?
Well, with dusting,
If you want to completely prevent the chance of you getting the virus, what you need is an N97 grade mask with full face covering, and you
Exactly.
can't
Why at night?
even have facial hair because that will create a hole and you can get the virus. Right, but that's impossible because the whole population cannot have N97. We simply don't have the resources to do so. We barely have the resources to fund N97 masks for our medical professionals.
So why give us these?
Because they're the next best thing. What it will do is it will prevent the spread as you breathe out, for example. So instead of the virus going all over, what will happen is it will remain closer to you, right? So you won't be breathing out as much viral cells as you would be if you were to not wear a mask. Right, okay, so imagine me wearing a mask in front of you and being
Yep.
2 meters away and breathing heavily, right? And then imagine me taking the mask off and breathing heavily close to you. You'd probably be able to feel my breath, right? So of course you'd be able to get the virus better. With the mask, it wouldn't happen.
Yeah, I know that.
So that's why they give you the shitty little masks.
So why don't you have, I don't know, not these big fucking them N90, whatever there was called.
N97 grade masks is what they're called.
Yeah, them.
Which have a very, very fine filter which catch the coronavirus so you don't get it into your system.
Right, instead of having them, just make a cheaper version of them.
Well, that's impossible. We, of course, make a cheaper version. That would make perfect sense, but it's impossible to do so because you wouldn't get N97 grade.
No, you won't. But
right, so
if
you
you
can't.
can't- if
So
you
you
can't
can't
see the
make
virus-
cheaper versions, can you?
if you can't see the virus,
All right. Can you admit you won't be able to make cheaper versions of this mask out
No.
of cheaper materials? Right. So that's why you wouldn't do so.
no, you can't.
No, you can't.
So you can't put goggles on this mask, no?
You can't. Well, that's ridiculous.
How is it ridiculous?
Well, I think you know how that's ridiculous. I don't think I even need to explain how that's ridiculous.
Well, if you can't see the virus, yeah,
Yeah.
and it's a scientific...
Well, you can see the virus,
Scientists.
but not to the naked eye.
Exactly.
Okay. But don't say you can't
Even-
see the virus. You can.
even
It is
scientists-
possible to see the virus. We have seen the virus before. You just can't
Yeah.
see it to the naked eye.
Looking through micro lens and
Do you think?
stuff like
Do you
that.
think the microscopes are fake?
No.
Good. Okay.
No, I know it's not fake because I know you can see the virus through them. But what I'm saying is, you can't see the virus when you're outside.
Okay.
Yeah? You can still catch coronavirus through your eye. Right or wrong?
Yes, you can.
Yeah, so how come we're not wearing goggles when we go out?
Well, because it would be very, very difficult to enforce such a law.
Well, isn't it very difficult to enforce you've got to wear masks?
Well, look at how easily you've got masks. Have you got a pair of goggles to hand?
Well, you will if it was enforced.
Do you have a pair of goggles in your house right now?
No.
No. Do you know how much
Because-
more expensive a pair of goggles would be than a mask? Than a paper mask. That's very easy to make, which would do some job at catching corona cells.
Some.
Yeah, of course. I've accepted that masks aren't the answer. The answer is taking a vaccine, which you
It's
think
not
will
that-
give you zombieism.
I won't take it.
I'm not taking it. Quite a few people who I know aren't taking
Why
it.
not?
Because it's government made. They said,
What do you mean it's government made? It's Pfizer made and Oxford made. It's not government made.
they
That'd be
said,
ridiculous.
right, if you look on the label, yeah, March 2020. Right or wrong?
Well, that's just its distribution date.
That's when it was made.
Well, that's its distribution date. That's when it was distributed because it
Yeah.
needs to be maintained in a very, very cool area. I think minus 90 Fahrenheit actually is where it needs to be stored.
You inject
And-
that. You inject anything minus into your.
No,
veins.
you're not injecting minus. That's just how it needs to be stored. You're not injecting anything that's cold. It just needs to be stored in a cold environment.
Yeah.
All you're injecting is the protein structure of the virus.
Yeah, I understand that.
Not
I
the viral
understand you're
genome.
injecting
It's the protein structure.
virus.
It's the skeleton of the virus.
Yeah,
Okay.
I understand that.
Good.
But if it was made in March 2020,
No, it was distributed in March 2020, not made.
right? So how come they're only forcing it on people now?
They're not forcing it on people.
Yeah, they are.
No, they're not. There's no
People in care homes.
There's no
Care
no
home
no.
workers.
People in care homes are choosing to take it because they don't want to die of coronavirus.
No, they're not.
Yes, they are. There's no forced vaccine.
If you don't take it, you're not allowed to work in a care home.
Well, there is the suggestion of what might be known as a freedom pass, which I think would be a particularly bad idea because it would reinforce people like you who believe the virus will give you zombieism, in which you would need to take the virus in order to take the vaccine if you were to go back to normal life, and you'd get a freedom pass to go back to normal life. I think that's a silly idea personally, but that doesn't mean the vaccine itself gives you zombieism. It doesn't turn you into a zombie. That's ludicrous. That's beyond ludicrous.
The vaccine's just
Can you accept that you
But-
won't become a zombie if you take the vaccine?
no.
Oh, for Christ's sake. Really?
Yeah.
Really?
Yeah.
Well, I've told you what's inside the vaccine. What else could be in the vaccine that would turn you into a zombie?
Have you made the vaccine?
No, but I have gone by medical records.
You believe everything. What you see medical record wise.
What do you mean I believe everything I say? They've had 3 independent rounds of judgment. You know, there's been 3 separate bodies, completely independent of any governing body, approving this virus. You know, you had round 1 approving, round 2 approving, round 3 approving, then it's been moved out.
And you believe that, yeah?
Well, yes, of course I believe that.
Jesus.
What do you mean, Jesus? You're the one saying it will turn you into a zombie, for Christ's sake.
Yeah?
Yes, you are. You are saying that.
Right, just remember me, yeah, in a couple of years, when
Okay,
these vaccines came out.
I will go back on Omegle, and I will, as a zombie, have a chat with you as a zombie, okay?
Sweet.
Alright, thank you very much for your time.